So, guys, I have absolutely no idea where that cut off at. But we're going to start with my gratitude to you guys. My gratitude to the loyal survivors. I didn't mean to say loyal survivors, but that's what you are. You are survivors. My loyal subscribers and my loyal viewers. All of you who take care of me in return for what I'm here to bring to you. All of you who give back. All of you who send donations. All of you who make purchases. All of you who take the time out to like, share, comment, subscribe, to not care what anybody else thinks about it, and to put your views and your beliefs out there, and to let people see and know what's going on in your world, to allow them in, to be vulnerable. And while you're at it, to spread awareness to other people, to spread light to other people, to raise their vibrations, and to call them into some healing sessions that they may need to hear too. When you feel called and drawn to share people's messages on him, and that fear stops you, that fear is stopping you from connecting with others. It's stopping you from allowing others to connect and to find that healing and peace that you get every time you watch one of these readings. I can understand why there's a lot of guilt or a lot of shame or a lot of anything like that when it comes to those things. Especially if you live in a small Christian community. It's so fun. But who gives a flying fuck? And that's the way we gotta be. To be the healers of this earth and the healers of this world, that's who we gotta be. We gotta be people who do not give a fuck about what anybody thinks about us, says about us, thinks we should be doing with our time. What do you think you should be doing with your time? Everybody thinks this dog is a lost cause. Let's just shoot him and put him in the ground. Put him out of his misery. Yet, his bald spot is almost gone and he's growing back new hair everywhere. All the scabs are almost gone and all the skin is new and fresh. And all because I took that time, that effort, that extra love and energy to pour into that dog. Regardless of whether or not it was making me money, regardless of whether or not anybody thought that he could be saved, even if he couldn't be saved, I was giving him the best chance he had, and I was giving him comfort in the meantime too. The medicine was helping him to feel at ease more, at peace more. It was helping with the pain. It was helping with the itching. It was helping the old scabs fall off because they were stuck to that fresh new skin, and we all know how painful and irritating that can be. And then he's sitting there licking it and making it worse. Or I can sit there and take care of him and love on him. And I can take that time and that energy for what's truly important right in front of my face. Each of us every day needs to remember that. So thank you to everybody who has been here throughout the last few years. It has been, I believe, this October, it's 5 years, I think, that I've been doing this channel. It may be 4, but I think it's 5. And if it wasn't 5, it sure as fuck feels like 5. Anyway, I think I somehow ended up on the road back home while I was doing this too, which is weird because, you know what, I had no idea where I was. But that's the thing. You pick up on where you're at. You pick up on the directions when you're not really paying attention, you're not overthinking things, and you're not constantly questioning your intuition and constantly questioning every turn you're taking. You will be led where you need to go. And that's the way it is. You will be led where you need to go when you place your faith in a higher power. When you're just like, fuck it. I'm going to go where you're calling me to go today. And I'm just going to let myself go. And I'm just going to fucking drive. And I don't even know where the fuck I'm going or where I'm at or what's going on or who knows. That's the point. What the hell is the point of living if you're not going to fucking live? And how can you live in your structured little box all day, every day with absolutely no freedom or impulse? Or you want to know why people are probably so impulsive these days and run around doing some stupid shit? Because they don't ever do anything like that. They don't break out of that box, and when they do, everybody looks down on them and is ashamed of them and makes them feel like shit about themselves. And eventually they end up a miserable mess with nobody around because everybody thinks they're fucking insane or they have problems or imbalances, when all they really wanted to do was just fucking live their life, damn it. Just live their life and live it to the beat of their own fucking drum without everybody saying, oh no, 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 we can't have a drum come in here. This is a violin party. There's no drums allowed here. You can't bang on that thing, especially not with that beat. It's not classy and up class, and it's not the most superior song there is. So why would we let you play that here? How the fuck do they know what's superior in a song anyway when it comes to stuff like that? Everybody has different tastes. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And people will love you this way too. They will. People will love you this way. People will love you as you. As the beautiful star shining in the fucking sky, showing people that there is a different way and you don't have to live by that bullshit. You can live the way you choose to live. So choose today. What it takes for this, I went into a whole spiel about it, but I think it got cut off by the video running out of space. So I went and deleted 13,000 screenshots. Fucking 13,000 screenshots. Holy shit, I did not realize I had that many in there, but I'm not using them for anything. They're just sitting there. And why? Why are they sitting there? Clear out that fucking past. Clear out that attic. Clear out that closet. Clear out whatever needs to be cleared out so that you can enjoy now. And so that you can have some new in there. So you can make new room for new pictures. Room for new clothes. Room for a new view. There is a diesel truck front end carrying a couple of motorbikes. That's what that just was. This is Idaho. Yep, we're still in Idaho. Update for everybody, still in Idaho. I love it because you know what? Some of it really reminds me of home. There's a lot of that at home too. Weird ass shit like that. There is a guy in town. I haven't seen him in a while. I wonder if he's still with us or if his dog's still with us. His dog used to ride on top of his minivan. Yes, outside the minivan on the roof. That's where his dog would ride when he rode around town. On his roof outside the minivan. Holy shit, right? It's not every day you see something like that. But we have that running through our town. So anyway, for 5 years, could be 4, could be 5. I'm thinking it's 5. For 5 years, ooh, there's a rat in the sky. Yes, I do that a lot. Anybody who's been here a while already knows this anyway. Sometimes it's a little worse than other times. There's an otter in the clouds over there too. I am fucking loving the clouds today, guys. Sorry. I love clouds. And there's so many of them in such fun shapes today that I am just really enjoying these clouds. Anyway, back to what we were saying. Back to the main agenda and the main conversation here. All the side things are kind of going off everywhere, but that's okay because the people who get me and understand me, they'll be able to follow it. The people like me, they'll be able to follow it. There should be things out there for people like that too. They shouldn't all have to be so perfect all the time. They shouldn't have to all follow this special code of this is the way it's supposed to be. That's the theme of today, okay guys? I am not the way it's supposed to be. I am a glitch. Like Glitch herself. So hard to be a princess when you're me. Anyway. So 5 years. Over the last 5 years. Because even though, yes, you all enabled me to be able to be here doing this and bringing these messages and helping these people, including yourselves, and helping the people that I help in my personal life around me every day. Yes, you do, but you don't really, because I've been here anyway. I've been here every day. Every day. Without the donations, without the likes, without the shares, without the subscribes, without the comments of encouragement, with people attacking me left and right, with no food at times, with no heat in the middle of winter where me and my dogs are huddling up together, and it was just me and the 2 little dogs at that time, huddling up together underneath the blankets because there's no heat in the middle of winter and it's fucking it gets down pretty cold here sometimes. I think there was a couple nights where it was like -13 Fahrenheit. if you're in a different country, because this country is the only country that uses Fahrenheit, and I really have no idea what the hell that is in Celsius. If you want to look it up, you can. It'd be cool to kind of hear that in the comments. What is negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius? Somebody please put that in my comments. That will help with the comments too. Anyway, now there's a damn shell up there. Damn it, guys. There's a shell. And it's not open yet. Fucking open that damn shell and let that beautiful inside of you come out and greet this fucking world, because all the irritation, all the drama, all the extremes you've faced in your fucking life have created a pearl worth seeing, a pearl worth hearing. Wisdom that is very great, a wisdom that's very strong and beautiful. It's amazing, and it's you, and I want to fucking see it. Everybody wants to see it, so put it out there. And everybody may not want to see it. There may be some people who are like, oh, you're so disgusting as a human being. Oh, you're gonna burn in hell. You want to know what I was fucking thinking a little while ago while I was busy taking 20 minutes to delete those damn pictures because there was a lot of them? I was busy singing a song to our Mother Earth underneath my feet. Because guess what, fucking shitheads? Hell is not beneath our feet. A beast is not beneath our feet. Our fucking mother is beneath our feet, and we have walked on her for eons. She has been there to support us, to love us, to birth us into fucking creation. And yes, our Father helped too, but he has had enough recognition. He has gotten his recognition, and he gets it every day. This beautiful fucking piece of earth beneath our feet. She has a heartbeat. She is our mother. And she deserves to be recognized, loved, appreciated, valued, and treated like she is something important too. Just like every other fucking woman on this planet deserves to be. I've gotten in this conversation so many times with people. Men are so upset at this point in time because of the way women are acting. We're so entitled. And men have been abused throughout the years too. Yeah, they have been. There has been some abuse on that side too. And it is a fucking heavy ass burden to have all the responsibility on your shoulders in that way. But all the responsibility in other ways were on ours. Not to mention the fact that we had to put up with whatever abuse came our way. And it was always our fault for that abuse. Always. They could fucking murder us at any time as their wife, just because they decided that we had done something to offend them. There is times in history where that was allowed. There is still places in this fucking world today where that is going on. And you want to tell me that women are equal? We don't have any deities. Oh, sorry, we do. But nobody's allowed to believe in them. Or you're fucking insane. Nobody's allowed to believe in them, or you're going to hell. We're supposed to see Eve as bad. We're supposed to see Mary Magdalene as bad. Even though Jesus stood there in front of her and defended her and said she was worthy of life too, and her sins were no greater than anybody else's. And yet that book was written by men. Men who decided we were going to worship one God now, and that was going to be a man. And then men took over the world and made it a patriarchal society. And yes, it sucks that they did not do that, but they are now suffering the consequences of it. And they are now breaking the cycles of the past chains too, to become better men who are okay with not having to be in charge of everything all the time, and who are okay with women having a voice too. And there's a lot of good men on this fucking planet today that stand up and fight for that right alongside us. Just like when the white people were fighting right alongside the black people, because they were. And just like, yes, it has gotten so much better these days. It has. And I am so grateful for that. I am so grateful I did not have to grow up 50 years ago, 60 years ago, fucking 120 years ago, 1,000 years ago. Can you imagine that? Could you imagine the misery as a woman on this fucking earth in those days? The freedom of a man, yeah, sure. If we got to be a man. But if we were a woman, look at the life we would have had during those times and those ages. They want us to believe that the past was some fairy tale land where everything was fucking perfect. And the world's going to hell in a handbasket and everything's getting so awful because we're pulling away from that system. But it isn't. It's getting better. It's getting a higher level of consciousness, a higher level of awareness, a higher level of empathy, understanding, caring, compassion, love. Not looking the other way when people are being abused. People actually having to face punishment for abusing others. Instead of getting a pat on the back and told, good job. You did what you were supposed to do as the man of the house when everybody won't just submit and bow down at your fucking feet. You're supposed to abuse them. When you can't control somebody, you put your hands on them, right? How about no? And the women are finally getting a strong enough voice to be the voice of reason again. A man can be an amazing king with a queen behind him supporting him. But the queens aren't even able to be behind him supporting him anymore because they have to stand front and center and support the other fucking women around them and the children around them and the animal around them and the earth around them and everything else around them. Because men doesn't want to protect any of those things and hasn't for many, many years. Even though that was supposed to be supposedly their job, was to protect and provide. They haven't done that for a long time, if ever. So now we are protecting and providing. And a lot of them are stepping into that more feminine energy, and that's so that they can enhance, embrace, and love that side of themselves, and we can enhance, embrace, and love this side of ourselves, so we can love them more, so they can love us more, so we can meet in a happy medium, balanced out between all of our energies, instead of the energies that this world told us we were allowed to have, because we have them all. We have a wide range of energies and emotions. We aren't just one thing or another. We are everything, and we are all connected, and we are all fucking amazing. We're all worthy and valuable. We used to have animal deities. I know I got way off topic again, guys. Sorry, but this is the way I work. I jump from one thing to the next, and it connects all the dots, and, you know, it creates a lot of new lines of communication. It allows you to explore many things you may not have thought of before. When everybody's so worried about everybody interrupting everybody, and everybody has to be so on point and polite and mannered and everything else when you're having a conversation, and everything's so fucking uptight, you never make your way to any of these conversations that are deeper. But if people are allowed to chime in with some of their thoughts sometimes, those thoughts are sent for a reason. Those thoughts are sent by our guides. Those are things we're supposed to say. So we do have to stand up and speak out. And when people say, oh, you shouldn't be interrupting me, and I'm like, yeah, you interrupt me too, because they do. Because everyone does sometimes. Everyone gets excited sometimes and says something in the middle of somebody's sentence. And when they don't, they sit there impatiently waiting for their fucking turn to talk and feeling invisible and feeling like nothing they say matters. And the other person never shuts up. How about we can go back and forth in conversation, because that's what it's supposed to be anyway. It's not supposed to be an hour-long diatribe by one person. It's supposed to go back and forth. That's why I love doing my lives too, because I enjoy being able to talk back and forth to you guys. So when I'm doing my lives, guys, don't be afraid to chime in. And sometimes it takes me a minute to see them. And yeah, I'm in the middle of something. But you know what? If I was meant to continue that, I would have continued it. And if I was meant to take a sidetrack over here onto your topic of conversation, that's what I did. And apparently that's what we needed at that point in time. Not whatever was going on over there. So guess what? Don't feel bad about that. Don't feel ashamed of interrupting me. No, and don't apologize for interrupting me. You're not interrupting me. You're fucking helping the conversation. You're giving it more depth, more meaning, more intricacies. It's kind of like when you write down a talking point. So you have a talking point for later, so it gives you ideas in the middle of your talk or your speech. That's what happens when you guys throw your comments in there. Because all of a sudden there's this new talking point at hand. And I love it. I love it. I love conversing with you guys. I love conversing with you guys. So fucking much. As much as I love conversing with everybody else I work with in person. And I get to do a lot more conversing with the people I work with in person. I love that depth and the layers that it goes down. So, I've been doing this for 5 years, through days that I was starving, through days that I was freezing with no heat of any kind, except for burning little random pieces of cardboard, which you're not doing while you're sleeping either. Or candles. Couple dollar store candles, and in a small space you'd be surprised how much it helps, but it does not make it warm. It doesn't make it warm. It just makes it not as freezing. You can see your breath in your house. Imagine if you woke up in the morning and you could see your breath in the house. Imagine if you were passing out in the afternoon worried about whether or not you're going to wake up, because you might die of heat exhaustion if you allow yourself to fall asleep at this time, but you're just so tired and you don't want to move. And maybe today you can just let yourself lapse into that peaceful fucking gone energy for a bit instead of worrying about it. Sorry, I'm having to cool down my phone because it's too hot. And see, that's what I'm saying. If my phone is overheating out here like that, no air conditioning out here like that, ooh, it's hard. And at the same time, there's people in South Africa that do it every day. There's people that live outside like that by choice every day too, with no air conditioning, no heating, no nothing like that. They do for themselves out in the middle of nowhere. Some of them, they do got like wood to burn as heating. I'm gonna start moving again so the sun isn't directly shining down on us, making it so hot too. So that's a lot of it right there. So anyway, I've been committed, dedicated, loyal to this channel and to you. I deserve that same thing back in return. I have been there for you every day, every problem that you've had along the way. A lot of you who have been there since the beginning, you may not try to ask questions for free because you don't. You never have. But you do put things down there about your day or about what's going on because I ask about it, because I care about you. And then I sit there and talk about the things you've got going on in your life right now. And it's the same thing as getting a question. I was talking to somebody at the bar one night who wanted me to give him a free reading. And this is a guy, by the way. He offered to buy me a drink a couple minutes before. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I already got a drink tonight. I think that night I had $10 to get my own drink. 2 of them. Because if you got $10, you can get, well, I kind of like to have $12 because then I can leave a tip. But it's $4.25 per drink, so I mean, I can still leave them $1.50 out of the 2 drinks. Although it does kind of suck when you're getting change thrown at you for a tip. But they don't really care in that place either. I have apologized to them, but really they don't care. They're like, it's okay, don't worry about it. And they mean it. They are genuine about it, which is part of the reason I enjoy being in that place. Although that place chews up and spits out bartenders like there's no tomorrow. Damn, they go through them quick sometimes. It just eats them because it's a very vampiric place too. But like we've discussed before, when you are a vulture, I don't view vultures as bad. You can call them a scavenger. You can call them whatever you fucking want to. They're literally the janitors of the animal world in a way. Because they clean up that waste. They clean up that disease. They clean up the toxins. And they don't get infected by it. So they don't infect others with it. And it doesn't sit there and it doesn't go into the ground and the other animals and the water. When you are me, that's what you do. And it doesn't kill your energy. Because here I am. I'm still standing after all this time. Even with some of those people wanting to destroy me. It doesn't matter. Because they can't. And I'm not saying that out of a place of pride. I'm saying that from a very humble place. They can't destroy me because I'm not meant to be destroyed by them. At some point, I'm meant to be destroyed. At some point, I am meant to die. At some warm and alone, or warm and old in my bed. That's what I just heard. At some point, I am meant to die. But not by their hand. It's not my time, and it's not my place, and I still have things to do. And I've known that for a very long time. That is why I chose not to kill myself when I was a teenager. And I really wanted to. Because I knew I had things that I needed to be here for until they call me home. And I also knew that if I did that, I was going to have to live this entire fucking life again, and there's no way I'm doing it. No. Hell motherfucking no. I am not living this life again. Actually, I'm not living another life at all. Because when I'm done here, I'm an ascended master. That is where I'm going. This is my last lifetime. And if I would have killed myself in the middle of it, I would have had to experience it all again. Because I have to get through this life and learn the lessons I am meant to learn before I can ascend to that new level. So their hands are not meant to take me out. And in fact, I am meant to heal a lot of them. I am meant to transform that thinking pattern in their brain, or that desire in their brain, the things that are broken, the things that need healed within them, that cause them to hate me for whatever reason, or that cause them to hate the light, or that cause them to hate certain aspects of certain people, like the sexuality of women, or like the femininity of men. There's a lot of people that hate both of those things. And those are things that I spend a lot of time working with people on, so they can accept themselves, which allows them to accept others. Whoa! And we're free! Oh, I love the song. We're not gonna take it. Oh no, we ain't gonna take it. Oh, we're not gonna take it anymore. We've got the right to... Damn it. That ruined my jam. Damn Jeremiah. Anyway. Gonna take it. Oh no! We ain't gonna take it! We're not gonna take it anymore!
Plays anything. To listen in Spanish, press 3 now.
We're right! We're free! Exactly. And we are fighting for our fucking place to be in this world, and our ability to speak the messages we have to speak. Fuck yes, we are. Anyway, that's what it takes to get something that is actually strong, long-lasting, stable. Something that is real and true and solid. Something that never leaves you cold. It takes something that drives you and motivates you that much to be able to sacrifice everything that you have to sacrifice. To be able to sacrifice going after that instant gratification. Which I had some help along the way with that too. Because all those fuckers in that town that decided I was just a piece of shit, stay-at-home wife and mother, and decided to believe all the lies about me too, and decided that I didn't deserve a job, or I wasn't smart enough to work a job, or I wouldn't be able to keep up, or whatever the fuck the thing is. Considering the fact that single fucking, or stay-at-home wives and moms, they do fucking everything. Everything! My husband was in charge of working, and he helped us clean once a week. And even at times, that was hard to get him to do. There was a lot of times during the last couple years we were together where it went 3 or 4 weeks without him taking out the trash and doing the dishes, which is the two things that I asked him to do regularly. The two things. And then everybody's upset because I'm not cooking all the time. I'm not cooking all the time because I have to wash fucking dishes to cook. And if I'm in the hot kitchen cooking all day, bride of Chucky, I should not have to do a motherfucking dish. You should take care of that. On the nights you cook, I could take care of your dishes too because I've done it. I did it last year with somebody I stayed with for about a month and a half. He cooked, and then I cooked. And on the nights I cooked, he cleaned. And on the nights he cooked, I cleaned. We kept everything else clean together. Wow, how hard is that to do? God, I was really happy there. And he's a fucking dumbass who fucking self-sabotaged everything and then said some really fucked up shit to my kid, or my kid lied about it. One of the two. It's one of the two. And honestly, I couldn't tell you which, because apparently I'm not meant to know which. But what I do know is it didn't matter. Because if somebody ever said anything like that to my kid, sorry, you're done. You're out of my fucking life. That's it. Over. You want to take accountability? You want to apologize? Not to me. To my child. Who you hurt very deeply. Because of your projections. Because that's how you felt about you when you decided to tell her that about herself. If you want to do that, there may be a chance. But other than that, there is no chance. And that's because I had a mother who put her man before her children on a pretty regular basis. She didn't put her brother before her son. Her brother moved in, and my little brother and him were talking, and I don't know, my little brother said something he didn't like, and he smacked him in the back of the head, and really, honestly, wasn't that hard either. I smacked him in the head once harder than that. My bad. I was pretty much the stay-at-home wife and mother for my mom as a teenager. Kind of like my older sister was. Both of them. That's a lot of weight and responsibility on shoulders that young, especially while they're still going to school. And while they're not sleeping at night because they want to make sure their brother and sister are safe. Plus, you know, all the sexual abuse you went through, so lots of insomnia for years. Because I was always worried and hypervigilant and nervous about everything. I wanted to make sure they were safe, because last time that I took my eyes off my little sister, she wasn't safe. But I'm not responsible for everything and everyone all the time. And shit's gonna happen to them in life, because that's what happens, and shit happened to me too. And for some reason, I never felt that way about mine when I was younger. No, I could sacrifice for everybody. Who cares if I'm hurting? As long as everybody else is happy. But these days, I care if I'm happy too. Because it's not just about everyone else. It's not the everyone else show all the time, and I'm just the person who's supposed to shut up and listen. So yeah, when I don't feel like I have a voice, I say something. And some people might say, oh, you're a bitch. Oh, you're a Karen. Fuck you. I'm not a Karen because I decided to stand up for myself and defend myself. I'm not a bitch because I told you when my kids scream no at you to stop what you're fucking doing. Because it's not okay to keep it going. And you have convinced them that I'm crazy and mean and won't let you guys play because you can't tell them to say a different word, and if they say that one, you're gonna stop. That's not a Karen and that's not a bitch. And I will walk away from any man who disrespects my children or stomps on them in any way. Because they are not the most important thing in my life. First off, who I am and my actions and the responsibility therein, that is the most important thing in my world. And I couldn't handle it if I looked away while somebody abused my children. Which is why I'm sure some people have a really hard time owning up to looking away while their children were abused. But I understand why you did it. I understand when you feel scared that you can't do it alone. Or when you feel like you're stronger when others are around, but you weren't. You were stronger when you were on your own, Mom. You were stronger when you didn't have some fucking man around thinking he knew better than you, telling you what to do. You were taking care of shit better in those moments. You were taking care of us better in those moments. You talked to us. You treated us as human beings instead of just children who don't know anything and should be seen and not heard. But when they were around, we all of a sudden became something that wasn't equal. Something that had less value. The moment my uncle smacked my brother that day, She started screaming at him and she told him to get the fuck out of that house. He was not welcome to stay with her anymore. But yet, around that same time frame, her boyfriend, who was paying half the rent in that apartment, I was upset about doing the dishes one night, and when I was a kid, I had a very big problem with mold and mildew, like an extremely high level of a problem with it. Kind of like my daughter, Kaden, has problems with certain things sometimes. The sound one I have a harder time dealing with. She has a really, I don't know if she does it because she's trying to be an asshole or if it really does bother her when people are singing, but she was extremely cruel to her sister when she's singing, and it's only her sister. So it makes me feel like it's not a problem with anybody singing. It's just a problem with her sister singing. But anyway. She has some really big issues sometimes. Like when it comes to washing her hands, when she washes her hands, afterwards she's like, my hands are dry, my hands are dry, my hands are dry, and it hurts, and my hands are dry. So I get her some lotion and I help her put some lotion on, and she used to really love everything that I made because everything that I made helped her. But over the last couple years, she uses it very little, if at all, because they have been brainwashed to believe that it's shitty, it doesn't work, it doesn't smell good, it stinks, that I'm just full of shit and I'm crazy. Especially since their dad couldn't even admit that the fucking tonics I made and the lotions I made and the dietary plan I made is what cured his fucking eczema. And every time he put steroids in his body, it made it 1,000 times worse. And according to everybody else online, it does too. Because everybody else online has had the same problem. They don't know what causes it. They don't know how to fix it. Yeah, maybe that's because we're trying to shove chemicals in us to fix a chemical imbalance in some way. Or, something along those lines. Instead of turning to our motherfucking earth, who has all of our needs right at our fucking fingertips, who has all of the healing energy and all of the healing life right there for us to take when we need it to cure our ailments. But we have lost a lot of those powers because the people like us who are healing people like that, the cunning folk of this world, the shamans, the bards, they were ostracized, demonized, called witches. They were burned at the stake and tortured and drowned. All because they knew how to help people and had knowledge and wisdom and understanding of our earth and how it works and the plants and how it works. And because everybody else didn't take the time out to learn those things, they thought it was magic and evil and awful. And yeah, there is some magic too. But just because there's magic and just because you can't use it because you have chosen not to study it, not to delve into it, not to get to know it, doesn't mean that magic is evil. Because it isn't. It's all in the hands that are wielding it. It's all in the intentions going into it. It's all in the person, just like anything else. Like we've been discussing recently about drugs and alcohol and how a person behaves when they're like that. It's the person, not the drugs and the alcohol. And 9 times out of 10, when you got a fucking 3-year-old throwing a big tantrum and acting like a big fat fucking baby when they're drunk, sorry, little bit of that toxic masculinity that comes out in independent women's children. But honestly, I don't find anything necessarily bad about it. I spend a lot of time with those people. They're hurting. It's pain that you see. And it's their lack of being able to express this pain because they feel like they're weak if they do that causes a lot of those problems. That's where a lot of their addictions come from. That's where a lot of that need to cover it, hide it, sweep it under the rug, whatever else comes from. And it's not the drugs that are the problem in those cases. It's not the alcohol that's the problem. Overindulgence of it, maybe a little, yeah. But you know what? I've overindulged in alcohol before, and I've never started hitting people. Haven't screamed at them either. Usually I cry or I get really frisky. Those are the things I repress a bit. So those are the things that come out. Trying to never be angry about anything is a big one for some people. Trying to be a perfect little robot in the perfect world. And then having something to blame it on when you aren't. Which is why some of them are drunk all day, every day. Because then if they're an asshole, they can just say, oh, I'm drunk. That's what it is. Instead of, yeah, I'm an asshole. Live with it. You're an asshole too. Everyone is in their own ways. That level of commitment, though, perseverance, faith, patience, trust, and going against the grain, doing what you feel you should be doing, listening to your instincts and your heart and your intuition. Those are the things that get you to that place with that stable, strong, solid foundation that will last a lifetime. Instead of giving it up for that instant gratification and that pleasure right now. And that doesn't mean you can't have pleasure. Of course you can have pleasure. I am on my day off right now, and you know what? I am fucking enjoying the fuck out of it. By the way, for the last like 15 minutes, I have been stopped at this absolutely gorgeous place that I should probably share with you. Look at this shit. Look at it. Look. This is our Mother Earth, our Father Sky, our grandmother Willow, our grandfather Butterfly. I don't know. I got two of my kids' grandfathers. They look for butterflies. A yellow and black one and an orange and black one. So, and we got grandmother Willow from Pocahontas. Once again with the listen with your heart, you will understand. Let it break upon you like the waves upon the sand. What do you see with your heart? What do you want to be from your heart? Where do you want to go from your heart? Is your heart leading you, or is your mind filled with worry, doubt, fear? And how am I going to survive, and how am I going to live? How am I going to eat? How am I going to have money? Is that what's driving you? Because if that's what's driving you, you're going to end up in a dead-end casino job for the next 20 years until your body's so broken down you can't work there anymore, and your social security is only $700 fucking a month, so you still can't eat. Although at least you don't got kids to raise at that point. My mom is the only person who even attempted to help in my position. She makes $750 a month. And she's telling me, I'm gonna try to send you $50 a month, Danielle. And I probably put her right back into that state of lack because I didn't accept it. It was good enough. You are enough. You have $750 a month. You have so little. And there's already times that you have a hard time affording everything in your life, and I am young, and I'm able-bodied. And if I needed the money that bad, I could go get it. But the purpose I'm working on is much higher than that. And I didn't need it bad enough for that, but I didn't need it bad enough to take from her either. She has given everything she's had to her kids throughout her life. And it never was much. She was always worried. She was always worried about it needing to be more. Which, you know, my two older sisters were somewhat similar to my kids have been the last little while. They go back and forth between what they used to be and what they are now. One of these days they'll find and repair their roots too. But she didn't need to give us the world. Honestly, my favorite parts of my childhood. Yeah, she always made Christmas fucking fantabulous for us. She always pulled something out of her fucking ass to have so much for us on Christmas. And on Thanksgiving and Easter and Valentine's Day. Not as much Valentine's Day, but she always made sure to get us a little bit of something. My birthday fell at a really shitty ass time. It was right before school started every year. We usually didn't even go back to school shopping. So, you know, we didn't have much. We got backpacks from the state a lot of times. There was a few years there, like 3 or 4 years there, where we got backpacks from the state because they started doing this thing where they would fill backpacks for the kids with all the school supplies that they needed. And then you still had to buy the ones that were missing from your list because every school has a different list. Although where we were living, there were so many schools and they mostly tried to maintain a similar list for that reason. Those programs are started by people who came from beginnings like mine and who transformed their life so that they could give back to this fucking world and be that light in the dark that was there for them. The Shop with a Cop, I fucking loved that as a kid. And there is a lot of dirty cops in this world. There's a lot of abusive people abusing their power. But there are those good ones too. A lot of them are bright, shining lights in the world for others as well. My favorite moments throughout my childhood that I remember were the days where we just got to sit together as a family. Because my mom was off that day and we were off that day. We actually had days off together that day. And we got to sit and watch a movie. Or we got to dance with music blaring. She was stressed a lot. And there was a lot of emotional abuse. Shit, damn straight there was. From her, from my older sisters. Mostly my second oldest sister. They went through a fair amount of their own abuses too. And they were busy trying to raise children as children. Because that's what we had. So we banded together and we took care of our own. The way it should be anyway. Honestly. It should be that way. We had each other. And that's a lot for love. We're halfway there. Whoa! Living on a prayer. Take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Whoa! Living on a prayer. And there has been some pretty fucked up things that certain people have done to me, around me recently too. But they've also been the light in the moment when that dark almost fucking enveloped me completely and popped me back out of it. It's been a long time since I've needed anything like that in my life. It's been a long time since anything like that has even presented itself in my life. I've just always been the light for so many fucking years now. But it gave me a chance to see that there are other lights around me too, and they are just as imperfect as me. And they are just as imperfect as you, and just as imperfect as my mom. So that night with the dishes, as I'm whining about doing the dishes, and why doesn't anybody else ever have to do the dishes? And because my younger brother and sister were the ages I was when my older sisters had me up there doing the dishes. Nobody had them up there doing them. It was just me. I was supposed to do it. Yep. A lot of other things too. This man grabbed me by my hair and dragged me out of the kitchen, around the countertop and out the front door, and threw me in the lawn outside of our apartment. and told me that if I didn't want to do the fucking dishes, I could get out of his fucking house. And nobody, I can almost guarantee nobody else had ever seen that part of him other than me and my mom in that moment. Because he was one of those perfect people that always had his composure in place and never lost his temper. He didn't drink, he didn't smoke, he didn't do drugs, he didn't cheat, he didn't beat her. He was stable with his money and did the responsible thing with it. We had dinner on our table every day at 5 o'clock, and we had bedtime every night at 9 o'clock. Which, you know, when you think about it, when it has to be that strict, it's a little controlling. I had to release some of that control myself when it came to trying to explain to my kids that a healthy amount of sleep is good for them because it makes them healthy. And sometimes staying up is great, but when you're doing it all the time and you're tired all the time and you've got black circles under your eyes all the time, like they have for a long time, it's not healthy for you. And at the same time, when I was a teenager, I wasn't sleeping except for Friday night and Saturday night. Friday night from like 1 or 2 in the morning till 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and Saturday night from the same time to the same time. And then I was awake all week again. For a long time, with nothing at all. Soda. But even that, it's not like I had money for soda all the time. Then I took some energy pills, and those helped out because you know what? Yeah, you are lacking energy and focus when you're not sleeping much. It didn't really keep me awake more because I was already awake. I was still sleeping my 2 days a week. Because there's been some people that are like, well, maybe that's why you were awake your whole teenage years. No, those didn't come till later. And it wasn't my whole teenage years, but it was about 1.5 years of time at that time frame. It was from, 12 and a half until I was 15. So 2.5 years. During that time, my mom was going back to school and she had gotten a job. She did not want to go back to cocktailing. She had quit cocktailing about 1 year or 2 before that. She did not want to go back there. Period, ever. And I can't blame her. I get why. And Walmart was paying her $7 an hour. And come to find out, at one point, they were paying the men more than they were the women. They didn't tell any of the women that. They called them all back there secretly and gave them all a raise. And it was only the women that got a raise. And then a couple months later, so that they couldn't say anything in the settlement, you know. They don't want all the voices there to say something because then it might have been a little bit better of a settlement. Anyway, a couple months later, they get a check in the mail. And my mom's like, I told you guys, that's exactly what was going on. And look at it. That is what was going on. Because my mom has a lot of those same things I do. She messaged me one night right after there was some shit with some people that were having some pretty fucked up thoughts and concerns to me about taking me out in the middle of nowhere and raping me and murdering me. And my mom all of a sudden messages me when I left the house and went to go to the other house to go look for my cigarettes and I was going to take off. My mom messaged me. And she's like, I just called you to see if everything's okay right now. We hadn't talked in about 6 to 8 months. We hadn't talked since I yelled at her because my ex and my kids went down there to see her last year around my birthday time. Nobody told me nothing. The only reason I even knew is because my daughter posted a short video on TikTok, which she probably got in trouble for because they're not supposed to be telling me anything because I'm crazy and I cause all the problems in the world. Which was exactly what my mom told me that day. And I was like, you know what? That man is sending you money. Now all of a sudden I'm to blame for everything again. I haven't been to blame for everything in years. Since you had an epiphany years ago and gave me the only apology you've ever given me in my life for anything. And you just made that apology null and void with your actions. Because you reverted right back to that. I'm the problem for everything. I've been the one who's been there to care for everybody for so fucking long, it's ridiculous. And I'm the problem every time? Yep, sure. Sure, Mom. Anyway, she messaged me and she's like, I just called to see if you're okay. I just wanted to make sure you're okay. And I didn't even notice she had called. My phone didn't ring. But I did message her and I was like, fucking perfect timing. I will call you and talk to you later, Mom. I'm fine. Everything's good. But I'm right in the middle of something right now, so I'll get a hold of you later. I went and found my cigarettes. Actually, I didn't find my cigarettes. They had disappeared. Went back to the other house, even though I wasn't going to. Told the person I was there with, I'm going to take off. Did you want to take off with me? And he's like, yeah, just give me just a minute and then we'll take off. And I was like, okay, I can do that. I didn't go back there for a while either. Next time I went back there, they treated me with a lot more respect. And you might think I'm nuts for going back there. I don't give a flying fuck. Think what you want to think. This is who I am. And little by little, changes are made in this world because of people like me who face that every fucking day and who rise above it instead of falling victim to it and hating everyone around them and fearing everyone around them. Because I don't want to live that way. And I can't live that way. I can't live with all my doors and windows locked tight and hiding my self away from the world. Even if I wanted to. Last summer, it was getting up to 110 degrees some days. There was a couple days where it actually got up that high. Do you know how hot it is in a RV in a parking lot when it's that hot? And I couldn't move it because it was broke down all summer last year. So here's my RV in a parking lot that is now 135 degrees. And you're not allowed to get in our canal anymore. Which is funny because 10 years ago, apparently they put up the same signs. You are not allowed to swim in this canal. And everybody went and tore them down and went swimming anyway. And yet, those signs have been there for a year and a half. A year and a half. It looks like they got a lot of sheep lined up to that slaughterhouse, don't they? Taking away anything that's free for us. Oh, by the way, we got Drug Corner right down the street from that canal, too. So all those poor kids in that neighborhood, instead of getting to swim in the canal now, and, by the way, the wealthier kids were swimming there, too, because when they weren't going on excursions to the river with their families, you know, and they got air conditioning in their house and cable and shit like that, so what do they even need to go outside for anyway? The poor kids used to swim there more than anybody else. And the public pool's gone now, too. It's been gone for a couple years. It's been gone since before they decided nobody can swim in the canal, probably because the homeless people were cleaning themselves at times in there because they have nowhere to go because they shut down the fucking showers that they used to have at the fairgrounds that they could take showers in. Right when COVID hit, because they didn't want any more homeless people here. We don't even like the homeless people we got here. We don't want any more here. God forbid we take care of the people around us while everybody's sick. And guess what? There was no soap in most of the soap dispensers in town for 6 months. None of us died. Not one of us got COVID. We were smoking cigarette butts out of ashtrays. Not one of us got COVID. Not one of us died. And yet, everyone hid away in their houses because of COVID and hated anybody that didn't wear a mask or whatever the fuck else. And it started arguments between families and shit like that. My mom's like, oh, I'll just pray for you, Danielle, that you don't get COVID because you didn't get the vaccine. And I was like, oh, Mom, I'll just pray that you don't end up with some unknown side effect that we don't even know about yet because you chose to take the vaccine. It goes both ways, Mom. So leave me the fuck alone. You're making your decisions. I'm making my decisions. We can live with them. So this was a complete and total random rant here. With all kinds of shit. I'm sure you guys got a lot from it, honestly, because that's one of the biggest ways that we bring healing to this world. That's one of the biggest ways that we get people to understand things, that we get people to notice things, believe different things, work things out, is by speaking our stories, telling what's going on within us, opening up and being vulnerable, being who we are. So if nothing else that this video did, I hope this video today is helping you to do that in your life, is encouraging you to do it, is encouraging you to be this fucking insane in front of 3,800 people. Because yeah, I am insane. Are you insane like me and in pain like me? bought $100 bottle of champagne like me just to pour that motherfucker down the drain like me? Are you high enough without the Mary Jane like me? Do the people whisper about you on the train like me? Saying that you shouldn't waste your pretty face like me? Kind of like the guy that's angry that I won't sell myself. Because if he could, he would. Well, you can. Because there's plenty of guys who do. And you got a pretty face and you got nice, long, beautiful red hair. I'm sure there are people that want to run their fucking hands through those locks, okay? So go sell yourself and stop being pissed off at me because I don't. It's my choice. I don't hate anybody for doing it. I don't feel like they should be shamed. I don't feel like they should be anything other than loved. And I've loved many of those men and women who have done that. There's been more men over the last couple years I've met that have done that. And you know what? They're not less of a human because of it. And you know what? I left my drinks alone earlier. And that is why I keep coughing like I do. Because even way out here, monitors. I'm going to go get a fresh bottle of water and I can almost guarantee that all of that will go away. Some of it might take a few hours because I drank more of it than I should have because I wasn't paying attention to the taste of it. And because I drank a fair amount of it while I was going through my spiel. And I'm glad I got out because I wanted to see exactly what direction I needed to go to back up out of here. That is so beautiful. So beautiful. And my dogs are so upset with me right now because I'm not letting them out here. But there's people down there and they were let out a few times today. Right now we're getting ready to make our way home. Yeah, we need to too. Anyway. Remember to love each other and love yourselves. And remember to be you. Because that's how you show love for you. And that's how you show love for people that are like you. People that are like you, that are out there, that are hiding those parts of themselves from you. They're hiding those parts of themselves from everybody else. They're doing that because they feel uncomfortable about those parts of themselves too. And they feel like people would hate them for them too. The more we unmask ourselves and the more we put ourselves out there in the world as our authentic selves, the more others feel they can do the same. The more they're encouraged to do the same. And the more they do the same. And then it spreads like a fucking wildfire. Putting masks on spreads like a wildfire. Not wearing masks does too, because nobody around here wore any. Sorry, but we didn't. We didn't. Most of us weren't traveling anywhere long distance anyway. There were some of us that did. Boise's right next door. A lot of people go over there all the time. I was busy having bonfires with my friends. Like 6 to 10 people at our house. And my mom's freaking out and, oh my God, what if you end up getting sick, Danielle? And I was like, Mom, these people are not used to being quarantined in their fucking home alone with their mental health issues and all the things they got going on in those voices in their fucking heads. And I'd much rather have them be here. I would much rather have them be here. I don't give a flying fuck if I get sick. If I get sick, at least I was living my life. You know what I'd regret tomorrow? If I got sick? Not having that fucking bonfire. Not being around my friends and my family and my loved ones. Just like when my kids may have had COVID and I was around them. You know what I would have regretted if I wasn't? What if they died and I didn't go see them because I could have got sick? How about no? I'm their fucking mother. And I should be there whether they're sick or not. I've been there every time they've been sick. I've had them throw up all over me. I've been on my knees cleaning up their throw up and had them throw up on my back and in my hair. There is no fucking way I would have left them alone for those 2 weeks to worry. And my mother-in-law can eat a dick if she thinks I'm that type of mother, because I'm not. She knew I was going to fight her on that subject. She knew it. Because she knew how I felt about COVID, and she knew how I felt about my kids. And she knew how I felt about dying. I don't give a shit if I die. There's worse things in this world than dying, like not seeing your kids when they're sick. And they could die. What the fuck kind of shit is that? What kind of world is it that we live in? That people are okay with being segregated from their family when they're dying. All because, oh, we may get sick from something that really wasn't even that bad. It wasn't even